BTS News today. The midday sky in Los Angeles was almost cloudless, and the ocean breeze from the Pacific carried a salty scent mixed with the shrill cries of seagulls. Amid the crashing waves and footsteps of wandering tourists, a black car with tinted windows slowly pulled up on a narrow road leading to Venice Beach. No sirens, no fan crowds. Too quiet, too clean, and because of that, too suspicious. The back door opened slowly. One person stepped out first, dressed in a gray hoodie, black joggers, and familiar white sneakers recognizable to any BTS fan. Seconds later, another figure followed, smaller in frame, wearing a black mask and a beanie that covered most of his face. Their steps were swift but practiced, as if they already knew which routes to avoid to stay unnoticed. But cameras still caught them, not paparazzi, not fans. These were hidden lenses, expertly planted between boardwalk planks, behind light poles, even inside street speaker casings. These cameras weren't playing around. High resolution, precise angles, and most alarming of all, they seemed to know exactly where BTS members Jungkook and Jimin were going. Jungkook led the way, head slightly bowed, occasionally scanning the area. Jimin followed behind, more relaxed, yet his eyes stayed sharp. They passed the famous skate park and walked toward the quietest, most deserted part of Venice Beach. Only the crashing waves and whispering winds accompanied them there, a rare sanctuary from the public chaos. But where were they going? Why would two global superstars show up secretly at a place like this? HYB had no official schedule for them that day. No reported shoots. No public work commitments. So why the caution? And how were those hidden cameras already set up before their car even arrived? At the end of the sandy path stood an old wooden shack, nearly invisible from afar, partially hidden by palm trees and sand dunes. It looked like an abandoned fisherman's hut or a forgotten beach storage. But as they approached, the door creaked open slightly, like someone had been expecting them. Jungkook knocked twice, then once more. Jimin repeated the same signal. The door opened from inside. A well-built man wearing a communication headset gestured for them to enter. No greetings. No questions. Once the door shut, the world outside disappeared. Inside was a different universe. Monitors lined the walls, showing real-time footage from every corner of Venice Beach. The same feeds from the hidden surveillance. Jimin took off his mask and sat in a foldable chair. Jungkook stood near the desk, jaw clenched. "Any changes since 2 days ago?" he asked, voice low and sharp. The man behind the desk pointed to the center screen. "One new camera. Installed last night. Someone's watching you. And it's not one of us. Not from HYB." Jimin narrowed his eyes. "No, we've confirmed it. Even HYB doesn't know you're here." A heavy silence followed. Tension clung to the air. Jungkook exhaled deeply and said, "Then we need to start, before they come back." And finally, their purpose was revealed. That tiny shack wasn't just shelter. It was a hidden studio, built by an independent team trusted by Jungkook and Jimin. No HYB, no media, no official contracts. Inside were sound recording tools, mixing boards, editing monitors. They were working on a new project, one so secret, even BTS's core team didn't know about it. But a threat had appeared. Those surveillance cameras weren't theirs. And their worst fear was materializing. An unknown outsider was following them. Not a fan, not a sayseeing, but someone with real access and unclear motives. Possibly the media, possibly a rival corporation, maybe someone from within the industry itself. Jimin adjusted the mic and tested audio levels. Jungkook opened his laptop and sat by the soundboard. They exchanged a long look. No words, just mutual understanding. They knew what was at stake. If this project leaked, their careers could be in danger. But if it succeeded, it could become the most honest work they had ever created. Outside, a man in a hoodie wandered the beach, holding a small pocket camera. His movements were suspicious. He stopped at the same spots the hidden cameras had been installed. He wasn't filming, just checking, as if verifying something, as if reviewing results. Somehow his figure looked familiar. Jimin froze as he peeked out the small window. "That's him," he whispered. "He's the one who installed the cameras." Jungkook rushed over, saw the man, then grabbed a walkie-talkie. "Target moving. Southwest sector. Watergate path." They couldn't let anyone leak this. Not because of contracts, but because this music was their soul. This album wasn't just music. It was their story, their secrets, their pain. This could only be told through a work unfiltered by any company. Suddenly, the monitors flickered. One feed cut off, then another. One by one, the screens turned black. "They're hacking our system," said the man tensely. "We need to leave. Now." But Jimin stood up. "No. We finished this track. This is the last one." The room filled with electronic drums. Jungkook began singing the chorus he had written 6 months ago, his voice raw, trembling with urgency, as if this was his only chance to let it out. Jimin joined in at the refrain, his voice softer, but no less shattering. Their eyes welled, not from pressure, but from liberation. This was the only moment they felt truly alive. There was loud banging at the door. Footsteps. But no one stopped the recording. When the final notes faded in their headphones, they sat in silence. No applause, no cheers, just a deep, still moment marking that something monumental had just happened. Then one of their security staff opened the door. His eyes were wide. "You need to see this." They stepped outside and faced the beach. A crowd had gathered in the distance. Cameras, lights, reporters. Someone had leaked their location, but strangely, none of the reporters pushed forward. They just stood there, filming from afar, some just staring at their phones. Then the world began to find out. Jungkook and Jimin spotted at Venice Beach. Secret project filming. New BTS album Unsanctioned by HYB. 2 BTS members caught by hidden cameras. Even more shocking, video clips from inside the studio started spreading. But not full ones. Just seconds. Jimin's tearful face. Jungkook's trembling voice. And within minutes, the hashtag Venice Project trended #1 worldwide. Who leaked it? How did studio footage get out? That remains unknown. But one thing was clear, the project couldn't be hidden anymore. The world had seen it, and fans didn't react with anger. Instead, they begged for the album to be released. They felt emotions they'd never heard in any commercial album. HYB remained silent at first, but internal chaos was growing. Still, Jungkook and Jimin didn't flee. They stayed in LA. They stayed together. And they knew, among all the possible consequences, this was the path they chose. That night, they sat on the rooftop of a hidden guest house near the beach. The wind still blew. The sea still roared. But the night felt oddly quiet. "Do you think we're in trouble?" Jimin asked softly. Jungkook stared at the sky. "Maybe. But for the first time, I'm not afraid." A small drone flew overhead, recording them from above. They noticed it. But this time, they let it be, because now, the world had seen what they were truly fighting for. That night wasn't peaceful, even though the LA air felt warm and tender. In their secret room, their phones lit up nonstop. Media, fans, even HYB staff who had just discovered what Jungkook and Jimin were doing outside company control. "Jungkook, look at this," Jimin said, showing him a video from a major fan base, an unedited clip from inside the studio. Jungkook's voice sounded hoarse, his eyes red, the lyrics aching. Jimin's pale face was streaked with tears. They never intended for the raw footage to be public. But the world had already seen it. Jungkook nodded. "That was from an internal camera. Someone on our team leaked it. But weirdly, I feel relieved."